can we use some version of this technology to bring dead people back to life?
So we get asked that question a lot,
Okay.
right? And so, because we also do, because there's a cloning step of this. So do I think that, so we got to separate the could from the should.
Yes,
right?
theoretically.
So I'm not advocating that we would do this, or anyone should do this. Colossal draws a pretty clear line that we don't work on humans. So anything that has a technological, or even non-human primates, so anything that has a technological implication to humans, we do spin those out or license those because we want that under different governance. People already have enough weird conspiracies about us. So like the last thing I want is like people are like, oh, they're working, like the last thing is I want to be working on mammoths, and then it's like Colossal comes up with cure for baldness, and people are like, wait, is that mammoth hair? Like people have weird ideas about us occasionally. Right. So I don't ever want that. Right. But in answer to your question, I do think that the technologies that we have, we could clone humans. We're not, obviously. The technologies that we have and are developing, you could bring, just depending on what the DNA preservation is of someone like Albert Einstein is, could you bring back some of those people? Yes. Would they be the same people? No, right? Like, and so it's like, even when you see people that have cloned their pets, they're not the exact same. They're genetically the same, right? But they don't have the same behaviors and everything. I think they actually have a lot of the same demeanors and behaviors. So I think they have the capacity for that, but it's like our human experiences. I'm a big believer that we're more than the sum of our parts, and so I don't think you're going to get the soul of Albert Einstein back in Albert Einstein, but I think you are going to have a human that has the same cognitive abilities that Albert Einstein did. But what contribution of things that we don't really understand, like consciousness yet? Or what attributes from the environment
right.
drove some of those breakthroughs? Who knows? But think of it more from an athletic disposition perspective. If someone like LeBron James had passed away and you were able to bring a LeBron back, you wouldn't be bringing back LeBron. You'd bring back someone that has the exact genetically the same, so they would have the same genetic aptitude for
basketball, whichever. But let's take LeBron's example. So LeBron grows to a healthy age of whatever and then passes. And if you were to bring him back, would he start at 30 or 20 or 50 or like how?
No, they would. You'd start. I don't know. I don't know if we as humanity will ever solve accelerated aging. I've asked that question because we have things like 22-month gestation in elephants. It's like, how to do it in 5? So I asked that, right?
Right.
And but it's maybe we'll figure it out. But I don't know how you do the acceleration of developmental biology. But I'm a big fan of the Show Foundation, and so they solved it there. So maybe things in sci-fi eventually come true. But if you were to clone a human in the foreseeable future, which I'm not encouraging to do,
right?
You would you'd start with an embryo. You'd go to embryo and you'd implant them, and they would they'd be a 1-year-old, a 0-year-old.
Okay, so they will start
as a baby.
And so if I were to get cloned today, it would start from an embryo.
Yeah, you'd have a like a son.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's that at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. There is an element of creepy. And so you did mention disease resistance.
But what's interesting though is what we think is creepy today could be changes tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And so like only half the population on the Earth, regardless of what people believe, can grow humans in them. Like only half the population.
Right.
Only women can do that.
Right.
And so. A world, it could be, I'm not saying it should be, but it could be, fast forward, we're not going to put humans in artificial wombs. It is harder to grow an elephant than it is to grow a human in an artificial womb, just so you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying it's easier ethically or getting FDA approvals or societal support, but it is, from a technical perspective, it's harder to grow what we're growing than humans.
Right.
So if we solve it for elephants, humans are actually much significantly easier. Once again, I'm not saying you should do it, but there could be a time where people are like, where they look back, as you were talking about hunting and eating meat, where people could say, there was a time where humans grew humans and humans. That's weird. Like people could say that. Like people may think that the idea of growing humans and humans is weird.